welcome to the last video on this hack and slash series. But with the 2010s, I'm gonna go on a different route. With major names like God of War and Bayonetta already covered in my last video, I'm gonna forego the big name hack and slash titles for this part of the decade. In their place, I'm gonna look to replace them with more obscure hack and slash titles. Not totally obscure, but titles without that huge brand name. So we all know the Devil May Cry and the God of Wars by now, so with this video, it's time to give the smaller known games a little time in the sun. This is the 2010s. Grab some popcorn, a large drink, sit back, and let's get started. And for the first title, let's take a little trip into hell. Visceral Games had an extensive history in game development by 2010, releasing many titles through different genres, Dead Space being one of their most proclaimed creations in the late 2000s. The 2010s started strong for them when they released Dantes Inferno. This game took me by surprise, not for its gameplay, but for those very disturbing but yet beautiful visuals. The art direction and overall theme of the game is extremely disturbing, and as it should be. You play as a Knight Templar named Dante who descends into hell in search of his girlfriend. If you've read the Divine Comedy, then you know how he will go through the 9 levels of hell to get to his girlfriend and save her soul. I like how upon defeating an enemy, you get to choose whether you absolve his soul or condemn him. Helping souls will allow you to use the Holy Skills tree to upgrade your fighting mechanics. The more souls you save, the faster you upgrade. And I like the combination moves and overall fighting style, and some people might say it's similar to the God of War series, and unlike many publications that condemned it for being similar to that game, I see it differently. The game garnered many great reviews upon release, yet for some reason, the sequel that was planned for it was cancelled. Who knows why? Little trivia here is that Visceral and EA ran a promotion with GameStop, where if you pre-ordered the game, you would get a $6 and $66 discount. This game also had some controversy when it allowed an in-game achievement to be included that was called Bad Nanny, which was awarded if the player killed monsters that would resemble children. Not too surprised a game like this would have some controversy. A great adventure hack and slash title for sure. Too bad now I can't go to sleep after playing it. Alice Madness Returns is a sequel to the 2000 game American McGee's Alice, which was originally released for Windows and Mac OS. This game was released in 2011 for Windows, PS3, and the Xbox 360. The art style in this game is a mix between a Tim Burton stop-motion animation film and the Alice in Wonderland universe. I found this game to be very entertaining due to the visuals alone. The game, however, is extremely gory at various parts, which may turn away some gamers. It actually surprised me. I wasn't expecting that much gore. I'm not one for excessive violence or gore, but this title is able to sparse out the violence quite well to the point where I didn't feel overwhelmed by it. As Alice, you return to Wonderland to find a new evil has taken over. After a short intro, you are given access to a knife that will be your primary weapon throughout the game.
I've not come back here looking for a fight.
Really? That's a pity. One's certainly looking for you.
You also get a pepper grinder that acts like a long-range weapon. Pig snouts are scattered about the levels and will require you to spray them with pepper to get them to show you secret paths and other hidden stuff. Alice has more weapons and defensive items that will be acquired later in the game. You can glide and use special moves to avoid getting hit during combat. As far as the combat is concerned, I did find it a bit tedious, but the amazing looking visuals make up for that shortcoming. Expect plenty of platforming action here. This is a title I feel went mostly overlooked when it came out. A shame too, cause it offers a very solid gaming experience. In 2012, Capcom released Dragon's Dogma for various consoles. This one here is the PS3 version. Now, I grappled a bit when deciding if I should include this title in my video. It does have hack and slash mechanics with emphasis on RPG style elements, and that's why I kinda dabbled onto whether I should include it in the video or not. Now, the game starts off fast by pushing you into conflict with a dragon, which you only slightly encounter during that first part of the game. And then all of a sudden it puts you through a short character selection segment before you start the game. I won't get into explaining the storyline, but let me put it as short as I possibly can. Dragon rips your heart out. You are tasked with getting it back and are aided by warriors from another realm. Soon as I can find the time, I am definitely gonna play this one a lot more. For now, I recommend you try it out if you can get your hands on it, which should be easy since it's available for modern consoles as well, even the Switch. If not, the game is dirt cheap on eBay for older consoles. You got no excuses here. Oh, I almost forgot. This game also got the Netflix animation treatment back in 2020. I haven't seen the show, so I have no info on it, but it looks interesting. I'm gonna try it out and maybe watch it after I'm done with this video.
The mustachioed one led the mission to rescue the princess. The one in blue may wish to see the crown jewels. He's an avid ring collector, and he may suddenly curl up into a ball. Perfectly normal.
Gaming royalty comes to England. Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Coming soon on Wii, rated E for everyone. Game and system sold separately.
Hey, who ordered the chili dog?
What do you get when Goichi Suda and James Gunn collaborate on a game? You get Chainsaw Lollipop, an over-the-top, extremely violent, yet very colorful hack and slash action game. This game is right there with Bayonetta when I say that it super sexualizes its main character and goes for an over-the-top style with its storyline and execution. James Gunn created most of the characters in this game as well as the story. You're a cheerleader with a chainsaw and pom-poms that has her school overrun by zombies. You got small combos, dodging, decapitating moves, but lots and lots of colors. Add to that a menu where you could check your costumes, collectibles, and even music tracks, along with some 80s music thrown in there for good measure, and you get one of the craziest hack and slash games out there. Now here is some small trivia. The scene in The Suicide Squad where Harley Quinn starts slicing and dicing through soldiers was inspired by this game right here. There is a remake of this game being made and it should be out sometime this year. Check it out if you can, it's a unique title.
Hey, it's Mom, Juliet. Hope you're taking care of yourself. Don't do anything stupid, okay?
Now this title right here was supposed to be the console seller when Microsoft unleashed it to the world in 2013. Rise, Son of Rome was developed by Crytek and was an exclusive launch title for the Xbox One after being originally shown years earlier during E3 of 2010 under the name Codename Kingdom.
When your time comes to command men of your own, think back on what I'm about to tell you.
This game is a hack and slash set in the great days of the Roman Empire. You know, I actually really got into this game while making this video. The presentation alone is great and the combat, at least to me, feels very tight and well thought out. It reminds me of the combat mechanics in the Batman Arkham games, where timing and blocking will do wonders as you progress into those long fights with many enemies around you. This title is actually available right now in Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, I highly recommend you try this game out. It's fun.
What are you waiting for? The audience is getting bored!
Rastan is considered by many to be one of the all-time classic hack and slash arcades of the late 80s. Crazy Viking Studios must also think that because in 2013 they released Volgar the Viking. If you think this game is an homage to Rastan, you'd be right. From the opening section to some visual nods to that arcade jam, Volgar is one hard as balls arcade style hack and slash action platformer. This game does not mess around with the name platformer. Unlike Rastan, Volgar has a double jump and a spear that he can toss at enemies and stick them to walls to use as a platform to get to higher ground. The enemies come at you fast and the overall difficulty will leave you crying like an 8-year-old kid in the arcades after realizing he is out of quarters. Try this game out if you want a real challenge. It has 8 levels and screen-sized bosses, but guess what? You're not gonna see any of that in this video because this game right here, it kicks my ass so hard that I am still stuck on the first level. This game, it is not for the weak. If you grew up playing games such as Metroid and Symphony of the Night, then Dead Cells was a nice throwback to those days upon release. The title was developed by Motion Twin and released in 2018. I heard of it over the years and I read about all the praise that it received. After playing it while making this video, I can say yes, it's all true. The game has beautiful sprite-based animation reminiscent of the best looking titles of the 16 and 32-bit days. This game took me by surprise not because of the visuals, but for the gameplay. I am not used to playing games with permadeath being a big piece of the overall gameplay mechanic. Some people out there might be turned off by this, including myself, but this game also uses procedurally generated levels. Now this creates a never-ending replay value and surprise element for the player. You lose almost all weapons and skills acquired during your exploration, but every time you die, you get a little more insight as to what is going on, although the story is not really required to be understood to play the game. You have to recall enemy encounters carefully and quickly adjust to avoid starting all over again. The game does get a bit complicated when you start to take into account the whole upgrading and skill system, but this is one of those games that you can pick up in short spurts and just have fun without forcing you to get too involved into any sort of convoluted storyline. And it gets even better now they have a Castlevania DLC. This game is awesome. Don't just read about it, go and play it. If you took the formula of Ninja Gaiden on the NES and you brought it out in today's modern gaming era, The Messenger right here is that result. This game was released in 2019 by developer Sabotage and is a clear love letter to the great Ninja Gaiden titles that existed on the Nintendo system back in the late 80s and early 90s. You have 8-bit style graphics, simple looking cutscenes to advance the story, and a storyline that gets more ridiculous as you advance in the game. You have that great platforming formula combined with modern graphics to give us a retro style title that plays great and takes us back to those days where we just sat in front of our tube TVs, stressed and on the verge of tears as we played some of the hardest platforming titles of that time. This one here has plenty of action, platforming, and retro style gameplay to keep you busy for some time. Overhead hack and slash titles are few and in between, so Darksiders Genesis was a surprise find for me. It was developed by Airship Syndicate and released in 2019. You get to control different horsemen, mainly strife and war. The title is a spin-off from the actual Darksiders series. The levels I found to be very sprawling overall, especially since the camera feels like it's located somewhere close to, 20 miles above the atmosphere. Now, what is good about this is that you get to see more of the level and what enemies are laying just beyond your proximity. You got your trusted horse from some circle of hell and you can use him to get through the level faster. And if he dies, oh wait, no, he can't die. He's from hell. If you play as Strife, you got a hack and slash attack, but you can also use your gun, which has unlimited ammo. But I feel it does less damage than your standard attack. It also relies heavily on upgrade and skills trees to help you in getting your character buffed up as you progress. Now, it took me a long time just to get to the end of the first level. This game will either pull you in with its combat mechanics or throw you off with its very long levels and slow pacing. Blasphemous is a Metroidvania type hack and slash title developed by Spanish studio The Game Kitchen. It was released in 2019 and this title is very heavy on religious content, not only on visuals but in the overall storyline. You are the penitent one, a knight that is partaking in a pilgrimage on behalf of the church. As you explore the countryside, you will get more insight as to what is causing the rise in creatures and evil while looking for the Cradle of Affection.
The Cradle of Affliction is what you seek. This can be found in the Mother of Mothers of the Churches.
This game is heavy, very heavy, maybe a little too heavy on religious tone, going so far as to allow you to collect and customize your own rosary in the menu screen. There are also spells to acquire that will grant you the ability to use them in combat. The graphics in this game, they are just simply gorgeous. That's the best way I can put it. They are breathtaking. I haven't seen this level of colors and details in a sprite-based game since games like Metal Slug back in the late 90s and mid 2000s. The attention to details and multi-scrolling backgrounds give this game plenty of depth to accompany the gameplay and story. The somber music set a tone that is sure to leave its mark after you're done playing the game. I got this one on the PlayStation 4 through the PS Plus service. Just be prepared for lots of gore from the get-go. You've been warned. This game brings the beat 'em up hack and slash series to a close. I wanted to give indie titles and lesser known titles more attention this time around. There's no point in me going over Devil May Cry 5 when I already covered the original title previously. Same goes for all the other major titles. The games get better and more flashy, sure, but the overall concept stays the same. So hopefully, by covering the titles I did on this video, I can shed some light on those games that might have flown under the radar a bit. And as consoles got more and more powerful and the medium expanded on what could be accomplished, the hack and slash genre brought more and more gameplay mechanics to the table, such as skill trees and upgradable weaponry to aid you on your journeys. As indie development blossomed in the 2010s, many developers decided to tap the older gamers with nostalgia by bringing back sprite and pixel art based visuals and 2D gaming at a time when 3D was the norm. This trend not only affected hack and slash games, but titles across all genres. That's not to say hack and slash titles only belong on 2D playing fields. For example, Rise, Son of Rome is currently a favorite of mine alongside Dragon's Dogma, taking a more reactionary defensive gameplay mechanic when battling enemies and incorporating quick time events into the action, and that really immersed me in the moment. That is why I tell all retro gamers out there to not overlook the many gems outside the 2D world of hack and slash, or any other genre for that matter. You never know when you're gonna find that next favorite game. Any specific titles you feel I missed out on? Any games you feel worth mentioning in the comment section? Share your thoughts and be back soon as I try to tackle one of the most confusing game series to ever grace the gaming community. In the meantime, keep watching, keep gaming, and as always, take care of yourselves.
What should I get?